All right, so we're here with Coach Fulks, Blessing King, and Peyton Ilderton following Marshall's game against Kentucky today. But first, we'll start with an opening statement from Coach, and then we'll open up the questions.
Yeah, this has kind of been the theme right now. I thought defensively we're doing a lot of really good things. That is now every game this year. We've been plus 15 on steals. So defensively, we're doing enough. Offensively, obviously, both games this week, you're playing teams that are collectively really good on defense, and you have very little time in terms of if you are open, everything closes down quickly. And so I thought we had a lot of good possessions. We obviously needed to have a lot more good possessions, but we got open looks. We understood. And so, now we kind of have a little bit of a stretch where we can start working on some of that stuff.
Questions starting with Tim.
With their height, not only does it alter shots, but also do players tighten up a little bit because they think, I can't miss because we're not going to get the rebound.
Honestly, I don't know about tightening up. I think we got that out at Indiana. But I think there was just a reality that, one of the things I thought we did better today was attacking the rim, and if we got blocked, we got blocked. There's value in why everybody tries to go out and get length. It makes defending a little bit easier because you don't need to be as tight on the ball, and it gives you some extra when it comes to rebounding. And so the length played in a lot of different ways. At the beginning, I thought the biggest problem for us was passes that we can normally get through because we're used to getting through. They were just long enough to get a hand on it, and so that caused some early turnovers. And then we adjusted to that, but I thought that was the biggest problem to their length early on was they were getting hands on stuff that we're not used to people getting a hand on.
You mentioned the steals and, you forced them into 18 turnovers. I guess when you look at the defensive side of this tape, that might be kind of a silver lining sort of that you can carry on.
No, I thought we had actually a lot of really good possessions, and I thought we had a lot of good coverages. And, there were several possessions. If I'm being reality, I thought we got the right shot, we got them to miss, and then sometimes they were just bigger on the backside. But I thought we really battled for that, and we had box outs. And but really, I'm looking at coverages and whether or not we're getting things the right thing. And but we had a couple botched coverages that we hadn't had in a while, and so we'll work on that. But that was a result of their size. Our bottom outsides were getting a little low because we were worried about the post players. So that I thought we did better at Indiana than we did today. We just had a couple today we got low, but I thought we really had plenty of good possessions. And one of our challenges right now, we're getting a lot of turnovers, but they're coming. You get steals and you can't predict where they come from, and so we need to do a better job when we get those steals of making sure we're actually coming down and converting, and we're slowing ourselves down a little bit. So.
Blessing, a big question for each of you. Same question would be, you see Kentucky coming in here and you see the name on their back and the 23rd ranked team in the nation. Does that automatically make you tighten up, or how do you feel about playing a team of such caliber?
I think our coaches do a good job of instilling confidence in us. So, to us, everybody out there is just basketball players. We're all just here to play basketball. So, I don't think it necessarily makes us tighten up. We might, overthink some stuff a little bit, but, we just played Indiana. So, we already kind of got the, big game, big name team out of the way a little bit. So, today was just coming in and playing our game. So.
Yeah, going off of that, I would kind of say the same thing. I don't think that our team is scared to play anybody. We're just going to go out there and play our game and adjust as the game goes on. And like Blessing said, just playing Indiana first, I think that helped a lot. And I thought we did a good job there, so we had a lot of confidence going into this game. But now we have a lot of things we know that we do good at, and we have things to fix, and we'll do that next week.
I don't know, how much, if you're ever going to face a team with this sort of length in the Sun Belt. But,
we aren't.
Yeah, so, I imagine,
that.
kind of a silver lining thing, you go into Sun Belt play and, maybe things are tight defensively. You can be like, hey, remember we got 15 steals against Kentucky, an AP top 25 team? That's got to be something good to kind of hang your hat on coming out of this.
Yeah, for sure. And, our defense is built to be aggressive and speed people up and try to get those. And so, I think what the flip side, one of the hard things about conference play is that, they see it a couple times. And so historically, what I know about the zone is, everybody's first time around, it's a little bit challenging. But there are still just base coverages, and, we believe we're going to get everybody's second best offense because everybody goes against man-to-man every day, and we're able to get all the coverages, and we know what shots, and we're able to protect the rim. So I thought we did a really good job today. And, there was a couple times that I thought they did a good job. They got the ball at 6 feet and they attacked it really well. And I didn't think we defended the rim, incredibly well in those possessions. But yeah, they're obviously they're good for a reason. And they have a lot of pieces. But we collectively defended really well for a lot of that game.
One, how'd you get them to come here? And two, what do you get out of playing such a quality opponent? How does that make you better?
Yeah, well, Coach Brooks, we're going there next year, so that's, it's a home and home. But, this, in some ways, this can make sense in a lot of years. I mean, it's obviously a really easy drive across 64. And we want to play these games. This is a fun week. I mean, if you were a, longtime basketball historian in Indiana and Kentucky in 1 week's a pretty good week. But we want to play big teams and big names, and obviously, I mean, we had a giant crowd out there. Like, everybody has been excited for this game to have really high quality matchups and to see. And we'll get a lot out of this game. You find out what are the real problems, and so to me, that is much better to know now than to find out in mid-December what are the things that we need, a few weeks to really fix.
Anything further for Coach?
Coach, I know, for you personally, your last stop, you're at Transy in Lexington. You get to play UK in Lexington. Is it kind of cool for you on a personal level to be able to do that? And of course, next year you'll be able to go back there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really fortunate. Obviously, I was in Lexington for 10 years and had a great experience, and that community really supported us. And there were a lot of fans here today that thankfully they flipped to green for the day, and so I appreciate that. But yeah, we had great relationships with the University of Kentucky when we were there, and we partnered on a lot of different things. And so, it's fun. But to me, the real value was this team is able to compete at a really high level. And so for us to get high-level games and the right type of games, like we wanted a team that when we were looking at scheduling, we knew they'd play with composure. We knew they had size. And so for the things that we want to be able to get better at, you think about how teams play and what's going to make your team better. And I thought both these games this week were really good for how we do things and what, we can get better at. So it's been a great week for us outside of, obviously, we'd rather win than lose.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.